Hello. Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am, okay, ma'am. So, நம்ம live start பண்ணியாச்சு, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Meeting is live on that.
ஏன்னா இப்ப சில மெம்பர்ஸ் வந்து சீக்கிரமே கனெக்ட் ஆனாங்கன்னா சோ தட் அது லாஸ்ட்ல ட்ரிம் பண்ணிக்கலாம் இனிஷியல் அவுட். பிரசன்னா நம்ம யூடியூப் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் நிவேதா இருக்காங்கல்ல? பிரசன்னா
சொல்லுங்க சார்.
யூடியூப் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட்டுக்கு பிரசன்னா வந்துட்டாங்களான்னு செக் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. நம்ம இவங்க நிவேதா.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. காது கேட்குது நீ
மேம் கீதா மேம்.
சார் சொல்லுங்க சார்.
மேம் இன்னைக்குள்ள ப்ரோக்ராம் ஃபீட்பேக் லிங்க் கொடுத்துட்டீங்களா மேம்?
கொடுத்துட்டேங்க சார். அந்த பொண்ணுட்ட கொடுத்துருக்கேங்க சார்.
ஃபீட்பேக் லிங்க் மேம்.
ஃபீட்பேக் லிங்க்
ஃபார்ம் லிங்க்
கொடுத்துருக்கேங்க சார். இப்பதான் கொடுத்துருக்கேன் நான்.
ஓகே. செந்தில் சார் நம்மளோட அந்த இத ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேர் பண்ணி வச்சிரலாம். அப்ப கரெக்ட்டா இருக்கும் செந்தில் சார்.
இப்ப பண்ணிடலாமாங்க சார்?
நான் பண்ணிட்டேன். இந்த இருக்கு. ஓகேயா?
ஓகே சார். சூப்பர். இத சொல்லிட்டு ஓகேங்க சார்.
நீங்க அந்த இதுல சார் வந்தாச்சான்னு செக் பண்ணிக்கங்க.
நான் பாத்துக்கிறேன் சார்.
அந்த சைடுல பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ்ல போனீங்கன்னா தெரியும்.
பிரசன்னா சார் ஷேர் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. புரியல. ஆமா இப்ப சும்மா போட்டுட்டு இருங்க. இப்ப சும்மா ஜஸ்ட் வேணா அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு 2 நிமிஷம் போட்டுட்டு அப்புறம் இது பண்ணிக்கலாம். அப்படியே மாத்தி இது பண்ணிக்கலாம். அப்புறம் சரி விடுங்க. இப்ப போட்டிருக்கீங்க. சரி இப்ப சார் வந்து இந்த வீடியோ ஷேர் பண்றது அப்புறம் போட்டுக்கலாம். ஏதாச்சும் நடுவில் ஏதாச்சும் ஒரு கேப் கிடைச்சுன்னா அது போட்டுக்கலாம். ஓகேங்களா? ரைட். அப்புறம் இது வந்து கேட்கிறேன். அந்த யூடியூப் லிங்க் எனக்கு இப்ப ஷேர் பண்ணி விட்டுருங்க.
செந்தில் சார் வீடியோ யார் ப்ளே பண்றதா இருந்தா பண்ணிக்கலாம். இதை ஸ்டாப் பண்ணிடலாம்.
சரிங்க சார். நீங்க கொஞ்சம் வீடியோ சார் வீடியோ ஒன்று ப்ளஸ் நான் ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க.
யார் ப்ளே பண்ற வீடியோ? பாண்டியன் சார் வந்தாச்சு. பாண்டியன் சார் வெல்கம் சார்.
Good evening, sir.
Mohan, welcome, Mohan.
Welcome, Mona Sundaram Jay and Prasanna link கொஞ்சம் ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க பிரசன்னா.
उस दिन जरा सबर से
செந்தில் சார் அந்த யூடியூப்ல போய் நீங்களே லிங்க் அப்படி எடுத்துக்கலாம்.
சரிங்க சார், ஓகேங்க சார்.
நீங்க இவரு சார் என்ன கன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணீங்க, இன்னொரு டெக்ஸ்ட் பண்ணுங்க.
பேசிட்டேன் சார், அவங்களோட உங்களுக்கு பேசலாம் சார். ஒருத்தர் ஆந்திர பிரதேஷ்
ஜாயின் பண்ணிடுறாரு. ஓகே ரைட்.
ஆமாங்க சார்.
मैं कर रहा थी मैं नेक्स्ट डे मैं मुझे अच्छा फायदा नहीं दाढ़ी इस तरह रख गया तो उसे सजा थे सूरज की मैं गए जब लगा
देख
செந்தில் சார்
சார் அவருக்கு தான் ட்ரை பண்ணிருக்கேன் சார். அவங்க இன்னொருத்தர் ஒருத்தர் பேசினார் சார். அவங்க ஆந்திராவோட இது.
ஓகே ரைட்
அதான் ட்ரை பண்ணிருக்கேன் சார். ஒரு நிமிஷம். சார் within 2 minutes ஜாயின் பண்றேன்னு சொல்லி மெசேஜ் வந்திருக்கு சார்.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே
சாரி சார். ஓகே
பரவாயில்ல இதெல்லாம் என்ன சார்.
ஓகே சார். within 2 minutes ஜாயின் பண்றேன்னு சொல்லி மெசேஜ் வந்திருக்கு.
ஓகே சார். ஓகே
சாரி சார்.
பரவாயில்ல இதெல்லாம் என்ன சார்.
ஓகே.
ஏன் எக்கோ ஆகுது சார்?
சார் நான் வந்து யூடியூப் ஆன் பண்ணி வச்சிருந்தேன், இப்ப ஆஃப்
Okay,
பண்ணிட்டேன்.
okay, okay.
செந்தில் சார் பேசுறதே எங்க கேக்குறேன்னு பாக்குறீங்களா?
அதான் திருப்பி எக்கோ ஆயிடுச்சு, அதான் பாக்குறேன். சரி, சரி.
வணக்கம் மேடம், அகிலா மேடம், பாண்டியன் சார்.
வெல்கம். ஆமா, பாண்டியன் சார்
வெல்கம்
மதன், வெல்கம்
சார். மதன், வெண்மதி மேடம், மகேஷ் குமார், ஸ்ரேயாஸ் ஹேக்கர் யாரு சார்?
Shreyas, you are from?
Yes, I am from Triton Electric Vehicle.
Okay,
welcome.
super.
Okay.
Welcome sir.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Okay sir, we are
Yeah.
kidding. Very good.
Welcome, welcome,
Good
Akhila
evening,
ma'am.
good evening, everybody. Yeah.
Good evening.
Very good evening sir. Good evening sir. Sir, shall I start sir?
What's up?
Shreyas, the Triton from Andhra Pradesh, or Shreyas sir, you are from Andhra Pradesh or Triton?
No, I am from Maharashtra.
Maharashtra. Okay sir, right. Next. Okay sir, thank you. Sir? Sir? Yes sir, please sir. Ravichandran sir, welcome sir. Bhavesh Shah, one person is joined, I think. Bhavesh Shah sir, where are you from sir?
Hello, sir.
Yes sir. Welcome sir. Sir,
Yeah,
you're from sir? Hello? Please, sir.
செந்தில் சார் again check பண்ணீங்களா சார்?
தான் சார் அதான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன் சார். திரும்ப கால் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன் சார்.
ஓகே ஓகே.
இப்போ பாவேஷ்னு ஒருத்தர் ஜாயின் பண்ணிருக்காரு. பாவேஷ் ஷான்ட்டு.
Hello. Hello.
Senthil sir.
Sir.
So otherwise we can start. Let sir will come and join. Like that also we can do.
ஓகேங்க சார். அப்ப நம்ம இது பண்ணிடலாம். இல்ல இதுல வந்து ஜாயின் பண்ணிருக்காங்க. அவங்க கேட்கணும் சார். 2 பேர் இருக்காங்க. ட்ரினிட்டி இன்ஸ்டிடியூட்ல இருந்து.
ஓகே.
சோ அவங்க போய் கேட்டலாம் சார். ஸ்டார்ட் அப் அவங்க வந்து அப்படியே கரெக்ட்டா இது பண்ணிட்டு சார். டைம் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு வேற.
Because in the YouTube people are waiting there.
ஆமா சார்.
ஆமா சார். Yes, okay. Bhavesh Shah. Bhavesh Shah.
Yes, sir. What happened?
Yes, sir. Can we start, sir, so that sir will come and join? Because it will take another some 15-20 minutes for the initial felicitation and all.
But I need to check up with Shreyas. Shreyas is there right here, I think.
Yes, yes. Shreyas?
If you can check with Shreyas, we will be knowing what time Himanshu sir is joining.
I think just now only left there, sir.
Okay, okay.
Should I call Shreyas and check it up with him?
Sir, will you?
I will do that. Just a minute.
Sandil sir, you check it with Shreyas, Sandil sir. Then we can decide. Dear participants who are watching in YouTube, so we are waiting for a guest. Sorry for the inconvenience. And so I hope we will start immediately with the session. But then the guest will come and join. Another 5 minutes we will start. Sorry for the inconvenience. Janashri, we can start Janashri so that sir will come and join.
Okay, sir.
Switch on the video and
Yeah. Okay. President of IGEN, today's chief guest, all the directors of IGEN, all the volunteers who present here, faculties and students from various colleges, participants and the audience. Welcome you all for this grand inaugural function of Generation Distribution Transmission Conference, Gendistranscon. It's our second Gendistranscon, and as last year, we have come up with more interesting events. Participants can take part and enjoy the entire event. Once again, I welcome you all for this IGEN Gendistranscon 2021. Being traditional is not just being outdated, it's just a lifestyle that never forget its roots. I request Mr. Prasanna sir to start our event with Tamil Thai Valthu.
Sandil sir, you can share the
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் மதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிதில் எக்கணம் தினமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு திரை முதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Thank you, sir. A small cheer and a great welcome makes an ordinary event an extraordinary one. I invite Dr. K. Geeta Ma'am, Dean, JCT College of Coimbatore, to give the welcome address.
Good evening to everyone over here. A warm welcome to all of you to the IGEN Gendistranscon 2021 International Conference on Electric Vehicle and Energy Storage. I am overwhelmed to welcome our chief guest, Mr. Himanshu Patel, CEO and founder, Triton Electric Vehicle, LLC, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, United States. I also welcome Professor Dr. SUBRAM, Professor CTIF Global Capsule Laboratory, Department of Business Development and Technology, Aarhus University, Herning, Denmark. Dr. Erik Skos, Associate Professor, AAU Energy, Faculty of Engineering and Science, Denmark. Engineer Bhavesh Shah, Director, SLDC, Chief Co-Dispatcher, Transmission Corporation Limited, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, Gujarat, India. Professor Dr. Uma Shankar Subramaniam, Professor, Distinguished Researcher, Renewable Energy Lab, College of Engineering, Prince Sultan University, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Engineer Anil Thomas Height, PSB. Dr. Arnachalam Sundaram, Associate Professor, Zubail Industrial College, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, AL Zubail. Professor Dr. Mail Velnathan Vivekananda, Solar Expert, International Supervisor, Green Building Consultants and Energy Audit Specialist, as the keynote speakers for our conference. It is a pleasure for me to welcome all the delegates of the conference from all over the world on behalf of IGEN, International Conference on Electric Vehicle and Energy Storage. Your presence is highly appreciable by all of us. I welcome all the participants in different categories who are excited to present their idea and views on the topic of discussions. A warm welcome to all the industry representatives who are present here to highlight us about the large-scale implementations and its impacts on practical levels. I also welcome our media partners who are great, who are here to support us throughout the conference. And also I welcome our NSF coordinators and all the team members. I wish you all a very pleasant stay and memorable time with the IGEN family. It is our pleasure to host you all to give you a platform to continue the discussion. Once again, I welcome you all. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for that very detailed address. Welcoming all experiences, we never know which one is going to turn everything on. As same as that, IGEN has many twists and turns, and we are here now and celebrating it in a very grand way. It's my pleasure to welcome Dr.A. Ramesh, sir, President of IGEN, to say a few words about IGEN.
Thank you, Janashri and the whole team. It was very wonderful evening to connect with you all, and a very happy evening all. It was very nice that in a very good climate in Chennai, so we all are meeting together. So the Institution of Green Engineers, which started with the initiative non-profit organization, working wholeheartedly with all sincerity for the cause of environment to promote a cleaner and greener world. So this IGEN will connect the professionals across the globe and work towards the sustainable development goals. So we all know that we are connected with 17 goals, and another objective to provide solution to a sustainable greener world through our 9-color nanogon named WIBGR Society. So presently to bring together all professionals together to work together the UN SDG goal to be the solution provider for the local government, national government, and be the part of a small contribution towards the global community. So we started welcome very our chief guest is connecting. And so we are very happy that we traveled the last 3 years in a good way. Himanshu Patel, sir, very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes. So we all connected 2 years back with a forum called the Institution of Green Engineers. And so I would like to present, instead of presenting what all activities we are doing, I am happy to present to you all the outcome. So the outcome of the Institution of Green Engineers is progressing the activities in alignment with global green sustainable goals. The IGEN has witnessed with the 60 strategy meetings, which action to execute 3 flagship events, 1 world record, 13 IGEN SDG projects, 56 IGEN WebGR events, 9 awards, 7,000 subscribers in channels, and many more action. So this converted into the action of the, normally the performance goals are a good way to monitor. So in that way, IGEN executed the events under the WebGR category and the IGEN SDG projects. So this all happened together with the connecting the volunteers. So we are with the outcome of 64 events towards SDG goals in 207 hours. 504 speakers reached to 1,90,085 participants and declared 10 village as N-Saver village. Approximately 1 million kilogram CO2 reduced, and we received a Asia Book of Record for IGEN Energyathon 2020. It is a 13.3 hours continuous non-stop event on energy, and impacted SDG goals 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, and 17 on events and projects. 7,500 home audited, 50 industry audited. Through this, approximately 2 million units of energy saved, and 1,177 dedicated IGEN volunteers in action. 45 partner organizations join hands with IGEN. 24 academic partners in NSA Club. 105 events and 20 projects connected and executed through NSA Clubs. Published 25 research articles in Scopus publications. 10 research projects, intermediate report published by IGEN Army. It is a young army related to the innovations. 603 trees planted through projects. 10,000 volunteers taken pledge for green on the Green Day. Launched IGEN Femto satellite on 7 February 2020 at Rameshwaram. Filed 2 patents for green products. 100 video contents are available in as for the Save Energy campaign. Published 13 reports on IGEN projects. So this is the outcome which we had, and we are continuing with that. I'm very happy to welcome our chief guest and all the guests, those who are going to connect with us tomorrow and after tomorrow for our IGEN Gendistranscon. It is the connecting the generation, transmission, and distribution. We all know that, but it is very important now the distribution play a big role. So in that distribution play a big role, a major component is the electrical vehicle. Now it is so last couple of months, very changeover is happening in our WhatsApp, in our Facebook. There is a lot of things are coming, booming up with the electrical vehicle charging electrical. Like even last 1 week in my street, there is a 2 electric 2-wheeler vehicle. I had a discussion with them also. So like that, yeah, very boom changed. The right time IGEN taken the initiative for the discussion on the electrical vehicle technology under this conference, and it is a second IGEN Gendistranscon. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. We are so happy to hear such a great journey of IGEN. Thanks for sharing it, sir. In addition to all these achievements, I welcome SENTHLKUMAR, sir, Director of IGEN, to give an intro about this IGEN Gendistranscon. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening to one and all. Dear friends, I am very much happy to invite you all for this wonderful session based on current scenario, that is electrical vehicle and battery energy storage system. Before introduction of the present session, I want to brief about the last year Gendistranscon version 1 2020 event. How we are going to conduct, what basis we are going to conduct. As per Honorable Prime Minister of India guidance to implement the green clean power environment to the national based on the international standards. And the green power is fully harnessing for creating a green clean environment. As per the direction of MNRE, Niti Aayog implemented the more RE power to place a major role and harness the wind and solar power. And then on 24th July 2020, IGEN Gendistranscon pre-meet event was scheduled through virtual media and IGEN and inaugurated by the chief guest engineer Eric Boehm, Adiwa, Germany. On 25th July 2020, engineer Bhavesh B Mehta, sir, director SLDC Odisha Power Transmission Corporation, inaugurated the IGEN Gendistranscon event and released the inaugural video and delivered the inaugural address for last year event. And the 4 eminent speakers and special session are present the views and development about the brown versus green power. And it is useful and valuable to the currently pursuing in graduate, postgraduate and research scholars and industry professionals. The eminent speakers, sir, eminent speakers are Engineer N. Nallarasan, Indian Engineering Service, and Executive Director in charge, NRLDC POSOCO, delivering a lecture about the Indian power system, present and future challenges. And then Dr. Uma Rajaratnam, Vice President of IGEN Global Solutions, delivering a session about demand side management and energy efficiency. And then Engineer Anil Thomas, Indian Engineering Service, Head Power System Planning in DNVGL, previous former Joint Director, Central Electricity Authority, New Delhi, delivering a presentation about the challenges in integrating renewable energy. Professor Dr. Gothari, former Director, IIT Delhi, delivering about my interesting journey from brown to green power. And then Engineer Eric Boehm, CEO, Adiwa, Germany, had presents the HVDC importance and HVDC surveillance in HVDC control room. He introduced a product that will help power engineers to go for surveillance under minimum degree temperature for HVDC conditions. And then one more event, that is a debate event, was conducted about green versus brown power by student versus student, and concluded the remarks that change is the need of the hour. So we need to shift ourselves from brown power to green power, and it has to be gradual transformation so as to not affect the economy as well as the high energy demand that is being met with brown power currently. So and then the program categories and SDG goal 7, the 4 eminent speakers present the green, clean power and present power position in India. Now I am going to brief about the IGEN Gendistranscon version 2.0 2021 based on electrical vehicle and energy storage. Electrical vehicles are becoming increasingly common to the streets on the electricity grid. Such vehicles include electric only plug-in vehicles and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles that have both electric and fossil fuel powertrains. While much of this vehicle charging will occur at night and during weekends, when electricity value and price are low or relatively low, and while passenger vehicles are not needed or used, some electric vehicles will need to charge during the day and even during peak demand periods when the grid is already providing the maximum amount of power. If EV charging occurs in parts of the grid that don't have sufficient capacity headroom to accommodate the extra power needs, then there are 2 basic alternatives. First, the utility could increase the amount of generation, transmission and distribution infrastructure to add needed capacity. The second alternative is to install distributed energy resources, including distributed generation and storage. To achieve the desired effect, distributed energy resources capacity must install electrically downstream from congestion points to serve the added on peak demand locally. Electrical vehicles can also be an electricity resource themselves. However, when plugged in, the batteries in these vehicles could provide many of the grid services that stationary energy storage systems can provide, and can also be actively managed to reduce the impacts that charging can have on the electric grid, an increasingly important capability as more and more EVs are plugged into the grid. And then today we are going to inaugurate the Gendistranscon event 2021, even kick-started by our Himanshu Patel sir from Triton Electric Vehicle. Thank you, sir. And then 2-day sessions are just, I have to brief about that. First day, tomorrow is the first session, is presented by Dr. Arunachalam Sundaram, Associate Professor, Jubail Industrial College, and talk about the title is Power System Automation. And then Dr. Eric Skels, Associate Professor, Aalborg University, Energy Faculty of Engineering and Science, Denmark, talk about delivering about the lecture, electric vehicle and the charging station. And then session 2, presentation by the speaker, Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Badmanaban, Professor, CTIF, Global Capsule Laboratory, Department of Business Development and Technology, Aarhus University, here in Denmark. Talk about electric vehicle and charging station. And then one more speaker on tomorrow, Dr. Uma Shankar Subramanian, Professor and Distinguished Researcher, Renewable Energy Lab, College of Engineering, Prince Sultan University, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And then day 3, session 3, presentation about the speaker, Bhavesh B Mehta sir, here about the battery energy storage system, telling about the lecture. He is a director, SLDC, Chief Load Dispatch Center, Odisha Transmission Corporation Limited. And then Dr. Mailvale Northern Vehanandan, he is a solar expert and international supervisor, INCORE ISES, Green Building Consultancy, and energy audit specialist, power quality audit and water audit and ADB consultant. He talk about the battery energy storage systems and the electrical vehicles. And the industrial presentation given by the NTPC power plant, and concave plasma presentation given by the Balamurugan sir regarding about the SDG 7 and 13. This event is fully based on the SDG 7 and 13 only. And the engineer Nallasons are also executive director in charge has to participate in our valedictory function. And thanks for giving me the wonderful opportunity for presenting the Gendistranscon event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Almost you have collected all the memories of this version 1 Gendistranscon and gave a very detailed report of what is going to be this Gendistranscon 2. So thank you so much, sir. I'm extremely elated to hear from our chief guest. And before that, I welcome Dr. Suresh, sir, Dean, KIT of Coimbatore, to give that wonderful intro about our today's chief guest. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Janashree, and thank you, team. It gives me immense pleasure and it's a privilege to introduce about our today's chief guest for the function, a conference, IGEN Gendistranscon version 2 2021, an international conference on electric vehicle and energy storage. It gives me a very good privilege and pleasure to join among with the family of IGEN members working towards national and international goal of sustainability. To introduce about our chief guest, I should take at least an hour. It takes an hour to introduce, but I don't want to kill the time and don't want to stand in between you and the chief guest. So I just cut short the content. I'm just giving as a crisp note of our today's chief guest, Mr. Himanshu Patel. He's a CEO and founder, Triton Electric Vehicle LLC. Himanshu Patel possesses a rich understanding in innovative surveillance management system and solar products from his extensive experience spanning more than a decade in the industry, supplemented by prior work experience in IT sector. His keen sense of industry requirements, coupled with his ability to think beyond the market's current availabilities, has allowed him to develop products and software applications that are beyond what has otherwise been available to the consumers. Mr. Patel, entrepreneurial spirit led him to the creation of Triton Infosys in 2005. He has been involved in all phases of Triton's development since its founding. Triton Infosys is a niche player in its field of security surveillance system and solar products. Mr. Patel's strongest quality is his natural intuitiveness for business, building strong relationships based on the exquisite dedication to outstanding service while providing a unique product range with matchless applications in the art he is mastered at, which has allowed him to ensure substantial returns for his investors. Within a short span of time, Triton Infosys has been recognized as a premium player, providing end-to-end solutions for clients including privately owned stores of various sizes, institutions, government organizations, schools, and national border authorities. He has the eye of foresee the post-execution domino effects of his work and venture, and it's what makes him triumphant always. His underlying competitive nature has led him stop it. Triton Infosys has a business in 11 different countries to date. He works more intensely and aspires to take business to as many countries as possible in the future. Mr. Patel is unwaveringly chasing his goals of making the world a secure and safeguarded place with the use of web security surveillance systems from Triton's Infosys. He is a specialist in more and more expertise areas. He talks about hydrogen power, renewable energy, electric mobility, and electric vehicle, and so on. The list is continuing. I don't want to spend much more time and stand in both of you. Mr. Patel, the dice is reversed. I was pleased to take the dice, and we are here to hear from you about an electrical vehicle. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Suresh. Thank you, guys. Thanks, IGEN, for having me here. I'm Himanshu Patel. Thank you for the amazing comments. Really appreciate it. I really have to take my hats off for India, what they're doing with the entire clean energy related to clean EV sector. But we define what are, like we had somebody had mentioned earlier, that what's going on with the grid, how we will attack the grid with EV being attached to the grid. We see these, we see a very foreplay, as a company, an EV company, we actually had to think outside the box, guys. And what we mean by that outside the box means we had to actually think about how are we going to address the grid issues with our EV, turning our each individual vehicles using our patented technology called Power Home Link. We were able to attack it by using that as the cars will now become like a microgrid system itself. So yes, we do own a patent globally on that. And yes, we will be using EV vehicles during grid peak power demand time to become like a microgrid system itself. So each vehicle, each home then becomes its own microgrid system, and using the battery that's on board with the car to be able to power your home as well as powering your house during power outages as well as during peak hours, it will become a grid microgrid system itself. And this is how we plan on attacking the grid demand issues or the grid vulnerability. I'm glad to see also that, IGEN is doing something like this to address and educate the people, because it's important. The first lesson we learned is how to educate ourselves, which market we're entering, which is India. We had to understand how is the market going to use the vehicle? That's number one strategy in understanding what India is all about. Because if you can understand how the people will use the vehicle, you can be very successful as long as you can build the vehicle according to the usage. As we all know, India has massive, traffic patterns. India has massive heating patterns. India has massive grid issues before. And thanks to Modi, he's done a lot to address and strengthen our grid. But we all understand this, that it's not an overnight job. It's a job that has to be done by everyone, not just by Prime Minister. It's all of our duties to make sure that we address the issues, and we all want to change those issues that are existing. And so, when we're looking at EV for Indian market, we really had to think about how we're going to handle that. How are we going to address the issue that's there currently with the grid, and how can we improve that portion of the technology with our technology? And that's exactly what we did. We used Power Home Link to reversely power your home, not only just charge your vehicle. So we're not becoming a power grid. So there's another issue there too. Some people were worried about it, like in the US market, you cannot become your own grid or act like you're owning your own grid. Well, if we're never sending power back to the grid, we're not acting as a grid provider or a power provider. we're only powering our own home and just reducing the demand of power during peak hours, which actually helps the power company as well. It helps the power company, it helps climate change, it helps, you know, the government, it helps everybody, including ourselves who's using the vehicle. As we are able, we had to create a way that so the people has a benefit, then only then people will do this, or else people will just say, oh, I'll just plug my car in the minute I come home, and you know, the problem is in the power company's problem, how they generate power. But no, it's actually our problem, not just the power company's problem. And we have to look at those things in a very different perspective. And we have to really look at it in a broad way to understand that it is our problem. You know, today I can say that, you know, we have 400,000 cars being produced by Tesla and other manufacturers. If you take just 400,000 cars and plug it in during 4 p.m., what happens to our grid? Forget about India, but what happens to even the US? Their grid will crash, right? And it's already starting to, we see that effect happening on a daily basis, because that would require almost 70-something thousand megawatts of power demand, which will not help our grids. It will actually destroy our grid. So what US is doing at the moment to address those issues, they're using fossil fuels as something called a spin reserve. For those who don't understand what a spin reserve is, it's generators that are running constantly, waiting for those demands in order for it to assist those so that there's no outages. That's what US has been doing for years, and strengthening how they have been strengthening their own grid without people knowing how they're doing it. They've been doing it with fossil fuels and having generators running constantly to making it as a backup standby against the nuclear power plants or hydrogen power plants. So what are we doing? We're just taking the carbon footprint out of the car and pushing it to the power company and making the carbon footprint in the car and at the power plant. So it is very important that we actually have to think about when do we charge the vehicle? I would address this to everybody. Guys, when you own an electric vehicle, please do not charge during those peak hours, as you will be creating carbon footprint, not reducing the carbon footprint. It's actually against the rules of what we're trying to do as a climate change. We say climate change by, you know, reducing the carbon footprint. That can only happen if we are really reducing it by not increasing any more demand on the grid and actually reducing the demand. Then we'll be really doing a climate change, right? And by us powering our car, powering your home, not only that it's not taking power for the car, but it's also not taking power for your house. That's how it's actually becoming like a microgrid system and addressing the demand so that we never have to turn on those fossil fuels, even to power our home. This is how we feel Triton is going to contribute to the climate change and carbon footprint reduction. This is why we say that it's very important to educate the world what is Power Home Link. Power Home Link is more targeted towards reduction of carbon footprint and real pattern, not just for cars, for EV or automotive industry, but also for your home. So it's helping you to stabilize and balance your grid itself. So how we generate and without increasing the carbon footprint, we're trying to reduce the carbon footprint as well. And so this is how we feel Triton will make a big change in the Indian market. Also, Triton as we also understand that, you know, having a consumer switch in India immediately to an EV will not be so practical immediately. And Indian car drivers are not the ones who are putting the massive carbon footprint. What's really putting carbon footprints are the commercial vehicles. You know, you have the lorry trucks, you have the rickshaws, you have your taxis, you have your, large vehicles that do transportation. These vehicles do massive carbon footprint in comparison to the consumer vehicles. So we needed to tackle those because they actually save money as a business owner. They're able to spend the money because it helps their businesses, where a consumer has to think twice before they spend the money because they're not too aware of or not too educated enough to know what the electric vehicles might do for them. So we tackle the commercial vehicle industry, which is the industry nobody's really tackling that quickly. So we wanted to go after that industry. I can gladly today say that we're going after the 2.5 ton all the way up to 65-ton vehicles, including the 100-ton for the mining industry. So we're tackling areas where we know that it's necessary to reduce the carbon footprint, but also has the regular patterns, and we can address the charging stations according to their patterns and build the infrastructure accordingly. When we know that, you know, a mining company that uses 1,200 trucks per day going in the same route, we know that, okay, yes, we can easily address those demands of power and as well as the charging infrastructure, where consumers are very highly concerned about those things, right? That, hey, how will I charge my vehicle? Where will I charge my vehicle? And is the infrastructure ready for that? Where a consumer can say, okay, you know, we have these regular routines and we're willing to turn 1,200 trucks into electric trucks. Okay, we can put the infrastructure accordingly and address that, and that could be a very fastly adopted versus the consumer. It will take time. It will take, you know, a time to also for convincing the consumers that we will make those infrastructure happen. So this is where we need to kind of really address it. And I think this, if by addressing these avenues, I think we can really make those appearances happen. And thank you guys for having me on IGEN. I really appreciate this. And hopefully IGEN will also educate a lot more people to understand how EV works. And gladly we can say that we're also looking at hydrogen power as well for our vehicles. And also we're looking into the technologies of hydrogen being generated from mass trash and waste, and turning waste into hydrogen gases, and taking that gases into, you know, turning it into EV, hydrogen vehicles. So really appreciate this, guys. I think if you guys tackle these and continuously educate the people, this will really do a lot of help to not only to us, but as well as to the people and to the country itself.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Himanshu Patel. It was very happy that Green Engineers is connected with you now to take it to the green SDG 7 and 13 goals. What you rightly pointed out, a very big, I start with my question, very big challenging issue for the grid, because I am purely a power system engineer, not only me, our Dr. Bala and the whole big team here, all are the pure power system engineers. So there is a big challenging issue. Because there are a lot of research scholars also watching the program, and can you suggest some very futuristic research area which the whole globe is looking for the solution? Maybe 1 or 3 or 4, so that our research community will take that as the one of their part, and they can start their research work in that area.
Sure. You know, hydrogen is going to be the future for this industry. As you know, everybody is entering the EV market. Battery materials are going to become a shortage, as well as, you know, what to do with how to recycle those batteries materials. So I think hydrogen is going to be the future. We see that happening already. We have already started R&D on hydrogen with ourselves, as well as we're already acquiring a lot of hydrogen technologies. We're working cooperatively to develop hydrogen with other companies and universities. So we're more than even glad to, Ramesh, that if any university wants to tie up with us for hydrogen, and if they have some sort of a technology, we're openly to look at that as well. And you know, addressing one of the major things, guys, is please understand what happens to the grid when we're talking about, you know, inserting so many vehicles to the grid as a charging construction. You know, this is a massive failure point that can happen if we don't address it the right way from day one. Our country is, as we all know, it's very crucial that we educate the people, because why do we say that? Is that, you know, our country is known for that. Okay, if something doesn't work, it will go viral, and it will take us back from people not trying to make those achievements. You know, we need to make sure that we do it the first time, not the second time or the third time. We don't have the credibility in order to do that. If we fail once, we will lose hope from a lot of people, and we cannot lose that hope. So we need to make sure that we address these issues. Triton has something called a Power Home Link, and we gladly, openly, are starting to work with a lot of brands out there. Can't mention those names right now on this, but we're working with a lot of EV car manufacturers who want to use even our technology. We're willing to openly allow that to happen, just because we know that we must succeed as a team, as one, not as, okay, he's my competitor and that guy's my competitor. I think the right goals should be that, if we all work together, we really can achieve a lot of things. So even though we own a global patent on Power Home Link, we are licensing it to a lot of people, a lot of different brands, to allow them to be able to use this so that they can, help and assist the grid. Because if somebody else fails to do so, that can affect us as well, remotely as well, on people not believing in EVs, right? So we're doing everything we can to make sure the EV segment is successful. And the only way that can happen is by educating people. And the more people that can utilize proper technologies and not rely on China, that's going to be another huge one, is that, all these components that we talk about, semiconductors are also another big side of this component on the EV that I think really India really needs to concentrate on. India really needs to concentrate on building our own semiconductors. And we don't see that industry right now in India. We don't see that at all. We don't see processors being made in India. We do not see certain chipsets not being made in India. And I think those are the things that should be made in India. We should be the key players. I think India needs to be that prime spot where we can say that we will not buy a single product from China. That's step number one. We as a company have done that. We have done that exactly. We are sourcing the chipsets from US, but not from China. But we are, and including every part in our cars are either produced in India or at least made in somewhere within our remote areas. So easy access to the parts and vehicles components. Only 2% of our parts are being imported. 98% is being brought from Indian market, which means any grant, any money that we're getting from local government or even the state level or federal level, it's all going to stay within India. It's going to be utilized within India. It will not go outside. When we're buying when we're producing 98% of the product in India, we're also creating a lot of jobs within India. This will help us come out of the pandemic issues that we have with from the COVID. This is really going to help that. It's really going to help us, be able to create the jobs internally than, giving the jobs overseas. So we really think that is our job as a manufacturer, or as a, you can say that, it's a personal responsibility that we want to create more even indirect jobs. So even if you're not working for Triton, you might be working for a company called JBL, or you might be working for Bharat Forge, or you might be working for Bell. And when we're buying products from them, we're indirectly creating a job, because we're making sure that those parts are only coming from there. So again, we believe in a lot of that component as well, guys, that we need to make sure that these are the areas we are tackling. And universities should really concentrate on semiconductors. They should be really concentrated on, battery technologies, how to improve them better and using less lithium in your batteries technologies. Today, we use 66% less lithium in our battery than the traditional guys. So, we brought that technology over to India and we gave it to Bell. And now Bell is going to manufacture those parts for us. Similarly, we think universities should really tackle that and start partnering with other players out there, other manufacturers, and figure out if they can do R&D and research for them as well, right? Because that also can be a very huge play for the university. Could be a very supportive for the university, as well as it could be a very supportive to the manufacturer or for other industries that want to get into this play.
Thank you. Over to Senthil for the next question session. So the YouTube viewers, post your questions in the chat box, so that after that Senthil will have the members in the Zoom can unmute and you can post your questions. Bala?
A very great evening, sir. So you have given a very great opening of what is all about the challenges in electric vehicle, as well as the challenge that need to be addressed by every engineer. So it's a good opportunity for all the people who are looking at there is no job for youngsters. So there are a lot of opening, and even the chip manufacturing, basic fundamental connecting parts itself, it's not available in India, means we are dependent on other part of the countries. There is a great thing you have pointed out. So IGEN would also address such issues and innovations. So we are working on with such people connecting with innovative things, and we'll just connect with you as well for the real-time products that can be connected with either with the charging station or the IoT devices for the trip chart that you are talking about, whether how much travel that has been done, and how many points are available, that is charging points available, and how many cars can be connected. Like that sort of data analytics work also be connected. And that would be a greater part that going forward, India is having a sustainable growth on EV stations as well. So there is a good opportunity for us. It's a great opening, sir. It's an eye-opening session, sir. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vela.
Members, any more questions?
I think somebody asked a question about how carbon dioxide emissions can be avoided. But I think the question on that is that, like I said, the power home link, you know, being taking power doing off-peak power when we're overproducing the demand, you know, during that time we produce so much power that we are actually wasting the power. But by using clean energy, of course, hydrogen, you know, by using that, we can actually really reduce the carbon footprint. We need to find those solutions on how to do that. And of course, our Power Home Link allows you to do exactly that. So thank you, Mahesh, for that question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your straight answer. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Mahesh.
Mr. Patel, I have a small question. Like, you know, we are talking about sustainability, carbon footprints, and you know, to achieve that SDG goals or whatnot. One side, day by day, that is a very big rise and growth in e-vehicles, and specifically we need battery. We cannot avoid batteries on the one side. How you are going to this of course, when a battery is not in use, is going to be waste, right?
So Suresh, good question. You know, that's where the Power Home Link is also coming in play, right? Wherever you go, you can plug your car, your vehicle in, and if you did that, it would be allowed to not only take the power, but it also allows you to reversely power your home or your building or a commercial building. So that becomes like a microgrid system itself, right? The batteries turn into like more of a microgrid system. Remember something also, the number of times you charge and discharge, it affects your vehicle, right? I mean, your batteries. So we also want to limit it, how many times you're able to do that in a daily basis. So we're able to address that properly. Another thing, Suresh, is that, you know, keep in consideration this is the reason why we're manufacturing our own batteries in India through Bell as our partner, and we're using our technology there. You know, it's going to allow us to also supply to other players in India. And we're creating that, you know, ecosystem for other players to be able to use us as a key starting points to be able to get into the EV segment.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. Himanshu B Patel. This is Dr.A.Pandian from Cave University, Andhra Pradesh. You have given a lot of insight on EV technology. In that, one of the issues, that is charging, if we are going to keep on adding the vehicles to the grid, we have some sort of instability issues and that. Now people are working on like IoT-based charging station allocations and that, like charging fleet allocations. So I think in abroad also many countries they are working on it. Can you please give some light on that? Because many research are going on that area by using IoT to allocate the load or the EV charging station.
Doctor, you're not wrong. Again, the power home link is exactly for that reason, so that, you know, when you're plugging into the grid during those demand and peak times, you know, you're not taking power. But again, I address this, that not only that you're not taking power for the car, but you're also not taking power for your home by using the power home link, which actually reduces the demand, even if without the cars being used, being plugged in. Let's just hypothetically say that, you know, if your car, your home requires 3 kilowatts per hour, and then your vehicle requires another, you know, say 6 to 10 kilowatts, depending on which vehicle, or 100 kilowatts even, depending on which car you're plugging in. Now that you're not taking that 100 kilowatts, plus you're not taking that 3 kilowatts. So you're actually helping to reduce that grid quickly, so that you're able to do exactly what we were talking about during the peak hours. It might not even be peak hours one day, because you're reducing the demand so much that it actually acts as a micro grid system. And if you have hundreds of people doing that, imagine that how much power reduction you're going to create on the demand on the grid. So the grid will become more stronger immediately by doing this, because you're not only that you're not charging your car, but you're also not powering your home, because the car is now powering your house for you during on peak hours. So this will actually balance the grid, as we call, you know, that is the most important component. Who can balance the grid? You know, a lot of people are in America are using large shipping containers, which is the business we were in before getting into the EV, to supply 10 megawatts, 20 megawatts, 100 megawatts to them as a micro grid system in certain cities. But our cars will do exactly that without actually doing, you know, putting in millions and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of infrastructure just dedicated for that, right? So now there's a way to offset the cost of the battery, because now it's acting as a micro grid system for your home as individually. And if you have 400,000 of those cars, and imagine 400,000 homes is not pulling 3 kilowatts of power, how much power reduction you just made on the grid without even charging a car. Yeah, that's another 400,000 homes that are not using that power. I think Dr. Ishrat Meera has asked a question about, is recycling the batteries a big challenge? Of course it is, and we're starting to see a lot of different technologies coming up in the market, which is helping to address those issues. It's not a challenge of, it's not a carbon footprint, but it is a challenge of, you know, recycling the materials, so some of the materials can be reused again to make batteries.
Senthil sir, yes, we can move to the next agenda.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Himanshu Patel, sir, for giving a wonderful session and valid questions and answering is very good, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then Janasri?
Yes, sir.
Next.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. The facts and information that you have delivered is really great to us. It's entirely new to me. And of course, I guess that many students, research scholars get benefited out of this. Thanks for sharing this, sir. And now here are some board of directors with us who always encourage us to grow better and better. And now they have joined us to felicitate on the gathering. First, I would like to call Mr. D. Gokul, ISRO scientist and the director of IGEN, to felicitate our gathering. Welcome you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Definitely, I think it's a version of 2.0. So definitely, we would have seen lots of a gathering in the last year, and I think with the same enthusiasm we have been started today. Definitely, I thank the organizers and the other team members who have been combined together in bringing this event wonderful. And I think the speaker has delivered a wonderful session about globally how this the electric vehicle and its need has been occupied. And I think maybe this the new normal life we started talking about after this COVID has proven us a lots of change in the technology, and it is the right time to take it up in the right way and implement it. It is not like this we are going to plan it for furthermore years. I think the action has started. Maybe IGEN has given that way to all the research, the scholars, the students, professors, and industrial people to use this platform. And maybe it is a big networking we can connect, and we see where the technology is going to lie and where we are going to travel. Maybe another couple of years or before 2025, there's going to be huge. The changeover is going to be seen in our own country, because I think the government of India has taken a very big initiative. I think maybe from 2019, especially on the EV. And now it is a highly required the transformation of knowledge. So that is happening because of our IGEN. And definitely, I think the another 2 days we have, it's going to have a huge knowledge core, and we are going to get a huge amount of information. But what we are going to do, that is becoming a big question mark. I just want only one important. I think we should not, I think, only go for a certificate purpose of attending and taking away. The takeaway should be huge, and try to bring up your own idea and see how we could able to battle up with all of us. Maybe we can connect the research, we can connect with the industry people, we can connect with the students and the professor and see the outcome. I think definitely next the version 3, when it comes with our Gendistranscon, definitely I think one kind of a new product, one kind of a vehicle which we want to make it up from our own hand, we can make it. So that is the real outcome, what we really want to contribute to the society. And better, I think we will go into the action. Definitely IGEN started the momentum in 2021. I think maybe COVID is there or not, or some more disaster comes. I think Chennai is already being with flood, but definitely I think we could not be able to stop thinking our knowledge pouring. And that's what this conference have initiated. So enjoy the day for another 2 days, and we will all again we connect with each other. It's not again like I have seen the speakers, they have spoken very well, and that should not be the takeaway. So what is going to be the next? So I think all the participants who have been in the YouTube channel, as well as the international participants also been connected with us. So definitely all these people can line up with us and write to us to our mail ID, and see that what the next potential another 3 months, 6 months, 1 year we can plan and give the best way to our own team. So with that, I once again thank our organizing the chairman, I think Dr. Engineer SENTHLKUMAR sir, and along with our president and director, who have done a huge contribution in bringing this conference to online this a good evening like in the Chennai, and we have a good weather. With that, I think we will start up the event in a very good pour knowledge. And also the chief guest today, I think wonderfully has given lots of information about the EV vehicle. Definitely, I think IGEN, we should collaborate with him, and we should further move forward in connecting the research people and industry and the students community in making this earth more green. And it's not only like creating a more green, I think it is we have to protect it. So the disaster already started in a bigger way across the world, so we need to stop for it. So I thank you all the organizers and the members who have been connected here. So definitely we'll keep up the work and look forward and move forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to welcome Vice President of IGEN, Dr. J. sir, to say a few words about this program.
This evening, so as everyone is talking about that carbon credentials and climatic action, so we are proud to see that SDG goals 7 and 13 has been emphasized. It is affordable and clean energy is goal 7. So that is very much important that everyone is accessing, because we are proud to say that we want to shift ourselves to United Nations, which is consuming more energy. So, but we don't think about the people, 400 million people doesn't have access to electricity. So even in energy pyramid, we could see that the conservation is the main objective, where yesterday I could see an advertisement which talks about conservation, that if at all your energy is not yours. So I mean to say that if it is not utilized well in your home, it would be helpful for someone who is struggling hard to get that facility. So there was an advertisement. The same way, the people can look at a perspective like instead of utilizing our lavishness of this electricity or the universal source, instead they can give back to the society. So that is one thing about goal 7. And then 13 is about energy conservation, the principle for climatic action. It's something like we need to work on for alternative energies. So that is one thing we are talking about is electric vehicles and storage. So it is yet to pick up, but still we could see that our today's speaker have given an insight of how the world is going to be and how India has a prospective approach on electric vehicles. In that, this Gendistranscon, so which is very vital that we are about to connect with the generation, distribution as well as the transmission. The utility is going to be pride of taking care of such things, bringing and connecting all such people. IGEN plays a vital role in connecting all such things with the global community and working on with SDG goals. So SDG goals was a myth and it was not taken care by everyone. But today we could see that everyone who talks about energy conservation are talking about a big word called it's SDG goals. So we need to own the pride of it. IGEN has a pride saying about propagating such goals to common people as well. So today, whoever joins IGEN have a goal for conservation as well as they have a takeaway saying that I'm working for such goals. So that is one thing that we need to appreciate institution of green engineers. So the green is everywhere, and we could also see that the climatic action is one point which is taken care by every individual. So like I need to be part of IGEN and I need to protect our environment. That is the goal. So today this EV has brought about a change that everyone who is utilizing that particular vehicle would be changing to electric vehicle means, and they are also looking at a perspective working with the different sources of energy like lithium ion battery or hydrogen or fuel cells, whatever been talk of the town, that would be connected and technological advancement would be coming up from IGEN. So that is the takeaway from this particular event means, and the innovators and researchers are all about to connect means there is a pitch contest where they can also present their own idea, like those people who look at innovation and other thing just shutting off the doors and see doesn't have an opportunity to present their skill set. They can come and they can present their own idea and give the society that I am there to give a solution to the environment as well as protect the environment. That is the pitch contest. And we could also see that there is a conclave which is about to be hosted on 28th of November. So that is going to talk about the pros and cons of electric vehicles as well as the storage and climatic, the impact of the changeover of electric vehicles and the climatic actions should be picturized by the stalwarts who are going to connect it. So hats off to a wonderful event organized by all the people. So the team working behind propagating everything, and thanks to the team members. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you. Next, I would like to call the director of IGEN, Mr. Mohanasundram sir, Associate Professor, KPR IT College. Welcome you, sir.
Our sir requested, but Himanshu sir, yes sir.
Yes.
Welcome, sir.
I'd like to add one thing about what Dr. Bell said. You know, I want to encourage everyone who's listening on today from the student side and innovators. You know, one of the things that we also need to, as everybody else that's on this call, understand that we need to support those who are trying to be new innovators. You know, it's very important, Dr. Ella, that you mentioned that, and I'm very happy to hear that. You know, we really need to support new guys who are trying to make innovations and ideas. You know, if you look at the fundamental of a lot of like the US, why are these big corporations happening out of US, like, you know, iPhone and Apple and, you know, Microsoft? It's because we're in the US, we're very easy to support those who are new coming to the market, we're not just trying to, steal the technology, or we're not just trying to ignore them for our benefits of other sectors. Instead, we're adapting to them and saying, okay, please let us help you get to market quickly. I think that's an important one, I encourage everybody, whoever is doing innovations and you have an idea, please reach out to us as well. If it's related to our industry, we're open to look at new innovations and easily to adapt to those. We don't look at, gender, we don't look at the wealth, we don't look at any of those things. We actually look at, if the technology really makes sense, we would love to adopt it and make it happen. And I think that's an important one, guys. So I apologize, I took a few more minutes of your time, but I think it was important to address that issue. And it is a very good point that Dr. Vela made. So very, very, very much, I'm very happy to hear that. So to everybody that's listening, all the students, please, we encourage you, keep doing it, because without your new innovation, we won't grow as a country, or we won't grow into a new world.
Thank you, Himanshu. It is rightly pointed out, our Vice President, he is the Director for the IGEN Innovation Consortium. So we have IGEN Innovation Consortium. Through that, we are in the two part. One, for the kids, Young Green Innovators Army, kids are there. 35 kids are connected. They had around 10 challenges they completed, and they are coming out with the idea of, for the patenting like that. This is one part. Second part, our Bala is taking care of what you suggested now, the identifying the young team and providing the opportunity to innovate and come out with the green solutions. That is what I would like to add Bala to have little more on that, what actually you are planning, so that it will be helpful for us to connect with Himanshu Patel, because already you are connected with IIT Chennai, that research park, that part of things you can provide the information, it will be helpful for us. Bala?
Thank you so much, sir, for that insight. You have taken courteousness to present your idea, so that is well appreciated, sir. So thank you so much. Coming to Innovation Consortium, so we are planning to connect 75 innovators for the 75th independence of India. So that is one thing going on. By December, we are about to connect the 75 people who are already connected with IGEN. And we are also give a pattern. So that is the approachable thing is that they don't want to steal the idea. So whatever you said is right, sir. So the idea behind the innovators are they have a panic that their idea would be stolen and they won't get the patent. That is the panic they have. But IGEN have the immense pleasure, as well as they take strenuous effect in bringing the patent of such individuals. That is one thing that has been taken care. And also we are working with a team in IIT Madras Innovation Incubation Cell, as well as so that the patent as well as the product is coming out within the shorter period of time. They don't have any hurdle in investment as well as the other part. So like the chief guest has given an opportunity that the US team can work on with the investment, also means there won't be any struggle for the people to come out with a product, because there is a difference between an innovator and a scientist. But most of the people are publishing as a scientist, but they won't come out as a product, because the inventors have trouble in their investment. So IGEN makes sure that they are connected, and so that the investors as well as the scientists are connected together to make a product that is also green as well. The sustainability need to be maintained. That is the important part we are working on. And the youngsters, we are nurturing the youngsters starting from the school kid to the college going students are there. So they would be working on as a team to make sure that innovation is part and parcel of their life. And going forward, we would beat patenting. That is, it is not alone the theory. The practical is going to be the product owned by India. It's not dependent on other part of the country. Not that we paste a sticker around. We are making sure that the product itself coming from India. So that is the ultimatum we are working on. So going forward, a lot of laurels would be added up with the IGEN team, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vela. It really makes me happy to hear this. That there's an organization out there that's really willing to help the kids there in India who can see a future for themselves and have a hope to have higher dreams that is what we all live for, right? We all live to see a better day tomorrow, and giving that hope to somebody, a student, only improves them, doesn't put them back. And that's something that's always been missing. I always say, whenever I hear some bad stories, I always say that it's been implemented to us by the British for so many years that, not to help our own kind. I see a lot of innovations that come out of India, but they don't get launched in India. They get launched in other parts of the world first. This was my incentive that, I was born in India, brought to US when I was 5, been living in America for 35 years. My goal was to launch the EV in India first. And I'm doing that. And hopefully, I see more people and encourage more people to do the similarly, that, we should more technologies that are developed in India, launch it in India, and then, consider launching in other parts of the world. But we don't, because of the simple math, right? Like you mentioned, the funding issues, the fundamental issues of those, and people stealing the technology, educating them how to make sure that the right footsteps are there. It's not only your job, but as well as the government's job to do this. And the government has also been encouraging people that, they will help and protect. PM has said it multiple times, including in his last visit to US. He mentioned about the patent protection plan resources from Indian government. So yes, I think you're right on the right path, guys. My apologies again for taking a few more minutes, guys. I apologize.
So thank you, sir. You are giving a lot of things, sir. Very nice. And sir, one more thing, sir, regarding about during the rainy time, if electrical vehicles safety or not, sir? During raining time, heavy rain, floods are forming on the time, electrical running time, we are facing some problem. What are the problems? How we are going to manage?
We have made sure our vehicles are almost like watertight sealed. And all of our controllers are that all the electronic components that we manufacture. The reason why I said we selected Bell to manufacture the PCB boards for us, because we are dipping them in ceramic coating, ceramic dip. So the electric boards itself is all the electronic devices are actually waterproof. So it can be submerged up to almost, I think, if I'm not wrong, please don't quote me on and hold me to it, is that I think where our products are up to 10 to 15 meters. We shouldn't have any issues as far as waterproofing and being able to go through the flooded gates. Unlike the IC vehicles, they cannot get flooded. We don't have exhaust. We don't, we put all the controllers in a position that, it's waterproofed. It goes into an enclosure that's also waterproof, but also from the circuit board level, even from moisture levels side, we make sure that, our controllers are waterproof totally. So our vehicles will not have an issue during the flood times. We don't encourage you to drive in the floods purposely, but if you cannot avoid it, it's fine. It's not going to be a make or break. That you'll be okay to do this. So similarly, our motors were tested, I believe up to 5 meters to 10 meters submergible. And so we built our product onto a military grade. So this is what we mean by when we built our product, we've actually thought forward how the product is going to be used and where it is going to be used, right? Like in India, we know that flood is a big issue. Every year you think about how many cars get flooded and the motors have to be rebuilt or whatnot. So we understand this, and we kind of made sure that we need to address that, as well as, electric is a different part of the world, right? We had to make sure the batteries are also waterproof, because you're talking, some in our large trucks, we use 800 volts DC. So we got to make sure that those batteries don't affect the drivers or the passengers or who's in the vehicle. So we've addressed those issues accordingly that way, that we've made sure that they're waterproof entirely and not one drop of water can reach in. I believe for our batteries, we've gone a little bit more further than 10 meters. I think they've taken the step forward to go up to 15 to 20 meters, just because we wanted to make sure that even the smallest amount of moisture doesn't reach the batteries.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Senthil sir, you are in mute.
Oh, sorry, sir. Gendistranscon. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving the valuable input, sir. Gendistranscon, please call a whole lot of thanks and conclude that.
Okay, sir. Showing gratitude is very simple, but it's one of the most effective and powerful way. And I would like to invite Dr. S.
Good evening, one and all. Gratitude is the most exquisite form of the courtesy. I deem it a great honor to propose the vote of thanks. First and foremost, I thank our chief guest, Himanshu Patel, CEO and founder, Triton Electric Vehicles, New Jersey, United States, who despite his schedule has found the time to grace this occasion with his inspirational thoughts. I express my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Akila, Honorable Secretary IGEN, Dr. J. Balamurugan, Vice President IGEN, B. Gokul, Director IGEN, and my special gratitude to Dr. L. Ramesh, President IGEN, for his continuous support and motivation to ensure that his conference becomes success. I thank all the distinguished invitees present here. Finally, I thank all the participants, those who are connecting through Zoom and YouTube. Without your presence, this program not be succeeded. Once again, I thank everyone for making this conference successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much. We all connected tomorrow with a very big next level of plan. Senthil sir will have the coordination in the night. We hope you have another 2-3 meetings, and we also having meeting. Magesh is there. Magesh, you can Prasanna, you can stop live.